What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Austin here.
And Eason.
And today we have a really fun one for you. We have a special guest, CodyGT from Further Beyond Gaming is joining us for this video, partnering with us to talk about our Biomutant impressions. We cannot wait to discuss this game, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content. So stay tuned and enjoy. Yeah, so I think to start, why don't we go around and say how many hours each of us are in and where we're at in the story. Cody, if you want to go first.
About an hour and 45 minutes in, and just joined up with the Myriad group, decided not to go with the Jagnias, left right outside their compound, and that's where I left off right there.
So I'm roughly about the same time, approximately 2 hours in. I also joined the Myriad group, got my boomerang, super happy about that, and I cleared one of the 4 enemy territory outposts.
Can I quickly ask, where did you get that boomerang from?
So when you clear the first outpost, you get rewarded with a tribe weapon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is the boomerang, and it's sick.
That's what I was interested in when I first saw the game. I saw the boomerang, and that instantly drew me in, so that's why I was curious. Thank you.
Yeah, I got some pro tips about it too. Eason, how far into it are you?
Right. So yeah, you guys got lives. So me, I was able to pump out about 10 hours into this game, and let me tell you, the dark side's pretty damn good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't mention. I went light side. Yeah, I'm going all light for this one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I'm a little more. I'm fairly neutral, but I'm a little more dark than I am light. So I think I'm like 2 more dark than I am light right now.
And Eason, what compelled you to sit in front of your screen and play 10 hours today?
It would have to be everything about the game.
We'll dive a little bit into that later. For now, let's all just talk about our experience from the beginning of the game up to joining the first tribe. That first decision where the road forks and you're left with that choice. So Cody, if you want to fill us in on the beginning of the game, what you thought of the intro and take us from there.
Yeah, so the intro was very interesting. I like that they walked you through that tutorial through the beginning, like most games do. It wasn't very difficult to pick up. If you played any games that are very similar to it, you pick up the controls very easy. You have your dodge, your roll, things of that nature. It was really interesting being able to navigate the world and start to learn about it as they give you flashbacks, which was really nice because it gives you a little more backstory on what's going on, and then they give you a full-on story at a certain point to where you get a better understanding of what's going on and what's happening. But through that you get combat and you get a feel for the game as well, and I think that is something that starts to draw you in as you're playing the game and starting to learn more about it. Combos are tons of fun, and then you start to unlock things like games that are very similar. You start to unlock things as you go along. So far it's been fun. I've been having a good time.
Yeah, so like you said, these flashbacks, they kind of threw me off in the beginning, but as I made my way through and I got to the second flashback, it really started to tug on my heartstrings, and I got really attached to these characters, and in a weird way, because I know the game is janky and it's a whole box of fun, but when the thing happened, I felt it.
Right. I totally agree. And the characters, and I think this is what the developers might have been going for, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I think they were going for that kind of wonky and wacky, concept when it comes to these characters and how they look and act. Especially the dialogues, it got to me. But because of that, it has this charm to it, for lack of a better term.
That Wong Fu.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That Wong Fu. And then the characters, the way they talk, the way they look, the way they act, it just has this very unique and wonky charm to it. It's kind of quirky. It's hard to explain unless you actually experience it, but it just has that little charm for me that I like.
Yeah, that narrator absolutely helps as well.
Who does anybody know who he is?
No idea. Do you?
No. Are we supposed to know who he is?
I don't know. When I was playing the game, I'm like, who is this guy? How does he know so much? How does he know what they're saying?
True.
Maybe not. Maybe that's just a narrator in the background.
Yeah, could he be part of the game?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
So like nobody else speaks English.
Well, that's why I was wondering. It's like he understands each, and they all speak like slightly differently, and he understands each and every one of them. The whole time I'm playing, I'm like, how does this guy know everything and know all of their languages and understands each and every one of them? And he's almost like a translator for you. The whole time I'm like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? How does he?
Oh no! Now you're putting theories in my head. Like, what if this is the voice of the world tree, and he's like some English dude who's narrating the story for you?
I have no clue, man. That's just what I was thinking when I was playing the game, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe it is just a narrator, and I'm looking too far into it. But the whole time he was translating for me, and I'm like, how do you know this?
When you do your first flashback, the guy that teaches you how to catch like bugs or whatever with the net, the dude with the leather jacket and the Elvis cut.
He understands why you came all the way out here to see them, the potato people.
I was laughing nonstop.
The whole time.
Yeah, did you get a lot of laughs when he was on your stream?
I did, and only because, once again, the narrator was able to translate what that man was saying. And the whole time on stream, I'm telling my chat, he's not saying anything. The narrator's he's just going with it. But that guy's not actually saying anything, I promise you. He's just making noises and
What
sounds.
I think is like the most fascinating is you find out that guy, whatever his name was, I forget, is actually the wheelchair guy, out of date.
Yeah, that's actually him.
Yeah, it's him in the past, and the contrast is insane. Like, he's nothing like that guy.
Serious?
Yeah, so that's how he remembers you, and he seems kind of like if you blew through the text, you'd probably miss it. But the narrator says,
I probably missed it with the stream. I probably wasn't paying attention.
yeah, bummer, because he's like he barely recognizes you. He knows you. Yeah, and the exposition's there. The narrator pretty much confirms it.
Right.
This is him. This is what he looks like now. The drastic change. That was like his young years.
Oh, geez, man. Yeah, I missed that whole thing. That sucks because I just thought that was a totally different person in the past and had no relation to what's going on now.
No, so it makes me wonder, like, when we get to the point where we're doing the second flashback and we're going through the village and we meet the bullies and, you get whooped and your mom's constantly nagging you. And then along the way, every time your mom nags you, your Muma, sorry, not your mom, your Muma. Every time your Muma nags you, it's because you're being interrupted because you want to, like, either help or hurt somebody, right? I'm really curious to see whether or not we see those characters in the open world back in the present.
Do we, Ethan?
You mean
like the bullies? Or
like
yeah,
the bullies?
like,
Like, do they pop up?
The bullies are the senseis.
What?
They're the six senseis.
The Sifus?
Yeah, the
Sifus?
Sifu. Yeah.
Oh, that is killer.
Because like the bullies had the bow, the staff, and the boomerang. Yeah,
He did have the staff and the boomerang.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Yep, they're three of the six Sifus.
Wow.
Say what?
That's incredible. So if you were never outcast, there's a chance you would have become a Sifu.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Eason, what were your thoughts on the beginning of the game?
Well, I was really pleasantly surprised with the combat. I was a little worried because when I saw the whole D-pad thing switching with the between melee and ranged, I thought that was going to be how you switched weapons. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to stop moving, switch my weapons with my D-pad if I want to change weapons. And no, that it's actually very fluid. You just trigger for your ranged weapon and then the buttons for your button mashing and combos and stuff like that. So I was really pleasantly surprised with how fluid the combat was. And I absolutely love the whole dream back segments where you go back as a kid and everything. My Muma, actually, my guy is a thick, hardy boy. All right. He is a very...
I like the proper language there.
Yeah, he's a very chunky boy. So his Muma looked like she could toss him across a football field.
Listen, man, my Popsy is stronger than your Popsy and can take your Popsy any day, man.
Honestly, Popsy seemed kind of like a pushover to me.
Yeah, it's just they're knitting a sweater or something.
Yeah.
So can I ask a quick question? Is your Muma looks relative to how your character is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is some nice little quality of life thing.
Yeah, and it's so you know that these cutscenes are happening in real time, or at least it's processing your choices and then applying that to the cutscenes. So I don't know how they're rendering these cutscenes, but it's really interesting because I made a character that was all ice resistance. I decided to go heavy on ice resistance and make my character all blue with black tattoos. When I saw my Muma It was the exact same tattoos, the exact same color, everything.
That's sick. See, I knew the color of the fur had something to do with it because my Muma was red and I made my guy all red, but I had no clue like the build as well, the way they looked stature wise. I didn't know they did that. They went that far with it. So that's actually really cool. I had no clue.
So which classes did you guys choose?
I started off with the mercenary. I started with mercenary because I wanted to go more melee at that point.
Mercenary.
Yeah, tell you what, like being 10 hours into the game, your starting class does not really have a huge effect on your gameplay.
It's like just like some starting bonus stats.
Starting
right?
bonus stats and kind of more like it funnels you into like if you want to do a certain playstyle. So mercenary is kind of like more melee and like dual wielding swords and stuff and a lot of martial arts. So it kind of funnels you down that path, but there was no point where I felt like I was weaker deciding to use my range weapon instead. The game really just opens up after a while and you have a lot more choices than just what you're working with as a class.
Yeah, okay. Cody, what'd you go with?
So I would have went mercenary if I wasn't a numpty and pre-ordered the game when I was supposed to. I didn't, so I missed out on that opportunity. So I ended up going with the second choice, which was Deadeye. I wanted to be kind of well balanced, have good attributes when it came to range as well as melee. And just like Eason stated, I didn't, maybe because my guy was balanced, but I didn't feel not good in one area or the other. I felt like I was excelling in both, albeit I haven't gotten too far into it. But so far, from what I can tell, like you guys stated, it just gives you that initial stats and what you need. It seems like you have the freedom of choice to really choose, be very open on what you're gonna go with overall.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty malleable way to build your character. I also went Deadeye with the same concept in mind that I wanted a character that was pretty well-rounded and balanced. But I did notice, Eason, that this funneling you're talking about, when I had my points and I was gonna upgrade to the perks, I had the option of two-handed or no-handed and then ranged. Everything else was grayed out. So I'm curious, because you're like 10 hours into the game, does that flesh out or open up?
As you discover new weapons, you get whole new movesets with them. So, for example, you have the boomerang, right? So the boomerang has its own whole moveset. Because I chose the dark side, the guy gave me his staff, and that comes with its own whole Wung Fu set as well. So those are all just different Wung Fu styles, and they have about 5 or 6 different combos with them that you can do, and they all do different things. And that's pretty awesome.
So essentially, I can just build any character I want as long as I have the weapon.
Pretty much. And the thing about those weapons that you do get, it's so far it seems like you don't have to unlock anything with the Wung Fu traits that come with it. They all come with their own unlocked traits.
So I'm actually tempted to go back, because I am such a TMNT fan, and make my Donatello with that bow staff. I am so tempted.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Right.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I noticed those perks, and I actually, that was one question I was gonna ask, because I saw the two-handed and then I saw the no-handed, and I went with the no-handed only because that pile driver that came along with it was just too nice not to go with.
Yeah.
That moveset looked incredible, but
is
I guess
killer.
that is what I was going to ask Eason, is if you choose one, because I felt as if I might have been missing out on the two-handed because I'm using that weapon more right now and not actually going no-handed. Is that something that, because you get enough perks, as you move along, something that you can kind of just round out when you start to progress more? Or does it kind of funnel you into a certain play style as you continue? Or is it just based off of the weapon?
The way the perks work is that they actually have a bunch of different ways you can get them. So you get them through leveling up, and you can also go around. There's like bandit camps that I've been visiting, and once you take out the boss, he opens up his den and everything, and there's a little book in there. You read the book, and it gives you like 1 or 2 perk points. So you get a healthy amount of perk points, so you can actually eventually round that stuff off, and it won't grade out because you chose two-handed instead of unarmed. I think they just keep them grayed out because you're not the correct level yet to learn those specific abilities. But once you get up to that level, you can, and once you have the perk points, invest into those as much as you want.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that you can kind of like simultaneously be switching through different weapons like during combat as well. It's kind of seamless. Is that right?
If you hold right on your D-pad, it'll bring up a little wheel and it'll slow down time. And then that's how you can choose, say if you already have like, you know, you're dual wielding, you already have your 2 weapons equipped, but you want to switch to a two-hander. If you have a two-hander pinned, it'll be on that wheel, and then you can switch to that two-hander. And then same thing with range, it's on the other side. Switch to your different ranged weapon that you want to use.
Could you effectively switch between movesets like seamlessly, or did it feel like it took you out of it when you switched?
It slows it down a bit. So you're still a little stressed and you're like, I gotta get my weapon before this guy hits me in the ass.
Exactly.
So overall, the combat maintains its pace, right, Ethan? Like you still feel like you're fulfilling and unlocking things for your character. You're making progression. I mean, we haven't even touched on mutations and anything else and crafting.
Oh my gosh.
But like,
there's so much.
Yeah. So in the short time that Cody and I have played, I think we've unlocked probably between 4 and 6 of those. What are they called? Biopods, those green shards that fall from certain enemies that allow you to get things like psi powers or ice powers or cool new movesets. Like the mucus bubble. I'm looking forward to the mucus bubble. I'm going to go Katamari on all the enemies. I'm going to call them boogers. I'm just going to call them boogers.
Yeah, the little boogers.
There you go.
So I've got about 6 boogers right now, and I need 15. I need 15 of them, so I'm just going to keep digging. Yeah, so like, what are your final thoughts on the game? Did you enjoy it? Do you think it was worth the money? Are you going to continue?
So far, obviously, need to put some more time into the game. But so far, first impressions, I think it's great. Combat-wise, I think it is fluid for the most part. I love the different abilities that you can utilize, the variety that it allows you to go ahead and take advantage of. The world in of itself seems great. The quirkiness and things that we talked about when it comes to character and personality that the game provides is fantastic. In terms of certain things, I'm waiting for me to get a little bit further into it, unlock more abilities, more powers, to get a better feel of how things are. But as a raw first impression and being unbiased, I think it's great for what it's providing at this point in time. Definitely would love to do a follow-up update as I get a little bit further, maybe a little closer to where Eason's at. You know, a week or two.
Yeah.
But all in all, so far, yeah, I do truly enjoy it. Yeah, and I think it's worth the buy if this is something that you are already interested in and have played games very similar to this. If you haven't really deep dived into games like this, it may not be your cup of tea because it is very quirky. It may not be like the best game to get yourself introduced to something in this type of genre because of its quirkiness and how different it is. But if this is something that you're used to already, like we are, it's great. And finding those little things out about it that, you know, as of now have already blown my mind makes it even that much better. So yeah, I like it so far. Good stuff.
Well, great. We're glad to hear you're enjoying it. I think Eason and I can unanimously say that we are also enjoying it. And also that we thank you a lot for coming on and talking to us about Biomutant. This has been an incredible conversation.
It's my pleasure being able to come on and speak about this game with you guys. It's been a joy, and I look forward to hopping back on if you guys are willing to have me speak more about it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, we can't wait to have you back. And just
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a great time, right, Eason?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of fun.
So just for the nerds, so they know where to find you, where can they find you? What are you doing? Go ahead. This is a perfect time to shamelessly plug.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving me the floor. So basically, you can find me on YouTube, obviously, at Further Beyond Gaming, where right now, deep diving into mainly gacha games at the moment. But as I've told you guys, and this is where this little collab came from, starting to move more into AAA titles, as that's always been a part of my life and something that I've always enjoyed. Console games, AAA titles, and Biomutant has been the first of many to be introduced on my channel. So it's currently in like a transitional phase. Still keeping the gacha games in there because it's just a core component of the channel, but we're going to be moving into AAA games very similar to what you guys will be doing, like with Biomutant, Scarlet Nexus, and others that we're looking forward to in the future. So yeah, that's basically it right there.
Awesome. So guys, make sure to head on over to Further Beyond Gaming and check out CodyGT and all of his gacha awesomeness. Cody, thank you so much for joining us, and we can't wait to have you back.
Thanks for having me once again. I do truly appreciate it. You guys are amazing, and everybody make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe. There is some great stuff that's coming out on this channel. Don't want to miss it. Make sure you stay tuned. And once again, thank you guys so much. I do truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, man. You have a great one.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. So until next time, take it easy, guys.